This week on Cars with Big Boy Trev, we head out all the way to Bavaria, Germany to sample BMW's latest variant, the BMW X3. We check out its bold styling, premium interiors, punchy engines, and of course, give you a value for money proposition as to why it is worth your every penny. Catch this and much more only on Cars with Big Boy Trev. Now this is the key to BMW's latest iteration of the X3, the G01. And with prices starting at Kenya shillings 8.6 million, do you reckon it can take the fight towards the Mercedes GLC? Let's find out. Now we start this review by doing a walk around. Let's start with the front profile, and you can see it's typical BMW design. BMWs are never known to stray away from the conventional design, and this one is no excuse. Now, if you look at the kidney grille, which is the iconic mark of the BMW X3, it's now bigger to allow more air to get into the intercoolers that are actually in front of this particular grille. And of course, you do have that glossy chrome look on the grills and of course on the lower lip to denote that this particular car is a performance derivative of the X3. Quadratic headlamps, standard of course with angel eyes that are now rectangular, just to give this car that look, that signature look that you normally see at night when you're driving in front of a BMW. So again, BMW have employed very gentle creases on the bonnet that denotes the amount of power within this particular bonnet. There's a lot of power, 183 horsepower that we're going to talk about later, but this creases also just gives this car that executive look and of course that butch feeling that you normally want and crave in a BMW. Now moving over to the side profile, as you can see, again not many creases on the front fender, but you have this plastic cladding along the wheel arcs and extends all the way to the back, of course with these chrome tips that also denotes that it's a premium vehicle, so definitely adds that je ne sais quoi that we keep on talking about on Cars with Big Boy Trev. Of course you can have different types of wheels, as you can see here, from 17, 18, 19 all the way to 20 depending on the preference, but for Kenya we do advocate for these 18s with high profile and of course gives this car that good ground clearance and of course a comfortable ride on any given surface. That's so important. And then of course, as you can see, that sloping roofline, it's not too sloping, but it's enough just to denote that also this is a performance sports activity vehicle. This is a segment that BMW created along with the X6, and they're trying to give that design language on the X3, and that is amazing. And of course you can see the chrome tips surrounding the side profile windows all the way to the back, just giving this car that premium feel that you so deserve. Do you reckon it's better than the GLC? Let us know on the social media handles below. Now moving over to the back, what BMW have done to reduce the amount of glass around this area is to merge the diffuser with the rear panel, and of course you have the shark fin over there, so it gives that hump. It looks like a sporty hatchback, probably a 1 Series but on a larger scale. Again, you have the BMW logo emblazoned on it on this panel, and of course you do have this X-Drive italics denoting the amount of power. So this is a 2-liter turbo petrol, and we're going to have so much fun testing it. Again, being an X3, it's the name of the game. Now built in Africa for African conditions. Now as you can see on the lower part of the bumper, you have two chromed out exhausts, again denoting performance and power, and then this chrome bit as well, and this rear diffuser. It doesn't do work, but it's aesthetic purposes. It's actually a very nice way of adding a subtle touch to a design that is renowned for years and years. Well, that said, are matters different inside? Step inside and let's see what the X3 is all about. So guys, you've seen from the walk around the subtle cues that makes the brand new G01 X3 what it is. A premium soft roader that is able to deliver performance and of course give a little bit of off-roading. So our matter's different. Let's step inside and see what the cabin is all about. And from the word go, you can see it's a typical BMW design dashboard. So basically the dashboard is angled towards the driver to give you all the vital information so that you have that cockpit feeling. It's like you're flying a jet fighter. I don't know how a jet fighter feels, but hey, this is what BMW is all about. And of course, the attention to detail. The quality in this cabin is just but amazing. You do have soft touch leather, of course, as you can see, stitched leather, and of course it's a two-tone variation. So the top is gray, and of course the lower part where the glove box is actually corresponds with the color of the seats. And this seat color is called ivory, and this is very standard to be BMW. Now moving over to the center console, this is where all the magic happens, and as you can see, you do have a floating tablet style design screen that's about 7 inches, and it allows you to control the certain aspects of the car. So for example, you can control navigation, radio, AC, all those things put in one. And of course, it has that thing called connected drive, and Mr. Mwirigi, who's our resident tech expert, is going to give us a lowdown on how this car is. And obviously, as you can see, there's a bit of wood trim around it. This looks like it's for mica, but it just gives this car that je ne sais quoi we keep on talking about, that stream of aluminium that goes around the air vents, again denoting premiumness of the brand. Right below it, you have the BMW business radio. As you can see, standard. It's been like this for many years, and this, I believe, is from Bang & Olufsen. So good quality sound that is surround. You can enjoy the music in the car, so you can stream from your phone. You can actually use Bluetooth and of course different apps within the connected drive application that's in the audio system. Right below it, dual zone climate control comes as standard. Plenty of vents to ensure that the climate within the car is suitable for everyone. So in the front passengers, the passenger can have their own temperature setting, the driver can have their own passenger setting, and also at the back you can actually have adjustments on the vent, so you do have a good drive as you drive along with the BMW X3. Now moving right below it, you do have plenty of cubicles and spaces. Remember, this particular car is a soft roader, so the name of the game here is basically having plenty of cubicles and spaces, and they have done in a neat and attractive package. So you do have the Formica and the black piano black finish with the X3 badge on it. So as you reveal it, then you do have space for your cell phone and 2 cup holders that you can actually use, and then you do have plenty of USB ports just in case you need to charge your devices or probably plug in and play some music within the multi-information system. Now obviously you can see the gearbox console. Again, typical BMW, the joystick is here and it actually has different settings. So on the left hand side you do have the scrolling menu. This particular iDrive has been in existence for many years, courtesy of BMW, and now you're able to control certain aspects of this using this rotary controller and the buttons, of course, with different functionalities. Gearbox console as well, as you can see here, you do have the electronic park brake, which is standard with auto hold. So during traffic, you don't need to keep on braking all the time. It does that for you. And of course, you do have the different settings. So you have sport, comfort, and of course, economy as you do the efficient dynamics driving in this particular BMW X3.
So when it comes to technology on the BMW X3, we have to start, of course, with the key. It's a brand new key by BMW. This, of course, now is the new key. The new design looks very nice, feels very good in the hand because it has aluminum inserts. For a little more money, you can have access to the BMW Smart Key, which actually have a screen on it and allows you to do certain functions on the car. But talking about the car itself, we have full of technology in this vehicle. The technology is not just the stuff that you touch, but it's in everything around you. The way the thing is designed, like Trevor told you, how everything is driver focused, facing towards you. So the first thing I'll have to mention, of course, is the air conditioning. It's dual zone AC, so somebody sitting on the left side of the car can have a different temperature from somebody sitting on the right side of the car. So if you're feeling hot because you're driving a BMW, you can have it AC cool on this side, and then somebody sitting in the passenger side, maybe they're feeling a little chilly, they can get a little heat on their side. So one of those dual zone AC, of course, is a fantastic system. Obviously, we have to talk about this beautiful panoramic sunroof, which is accessible with a button over here. So you're able to either remove the shade like we've done over here or open the first section so that you have the beautiful sun from our equator shining down on you, because obviously if you're driving this kind of car, you have been blessed. Speaking of blessing, when we're talking about the technology in this car, we have, of course, now this iConnect system, which you use this rotary key over here. So it's a very simple system to use. You can either use the key over here or the buttons on the steering wheel to control functions on the phone, and of course this beautiful surround sound system. Coming to the back of the BMW X3, and you can see this car has been getting bigger and bigger with each generation. This seat is set to Trevor's driving position. He's 6'1", I am 5'9", and look at just how much space I have for both my knees and for my feet under the driver's seat over here. It's incredibly comfortable at the back here. The premium materials in the front also extend all the way to the back. So you have this fantastic Napa leather. You have, of course, now these aluminum inserts over here and this premium wood so that you feel like you're in a BMW. The other thing that I really love about this is the fact that the panoramic sunroof goes all the way to the back. So I still have access to all the light coming in from the top, as well as a very low line over here, making sure that I have great visibility around. I'd really love to be in the back of this car on a long road trip. In each of the doors, there's a big enough door bin here for a 1 liter bottle. And in addition to that, we have, of course, a center armrest with the trademark BMW cup holders that fold out like this. Very interesting. Now, on a long trip, one thing that you're going to need to do is keep cold or keep warm when you're on the move. And we have, of course, now 3-zone AC. So I have controls for the air conditioning at the back here that allow me to switch it on, switch it off, choose the fan speed and the temperature for the people at the back here. So this brand new BMW X3 being a premium German vehicle, of course it has a power tailgate. This power tailgate opens to reveal 550 liters of capacity that is very well proportioned. I like the fact that it's very easily in a square and the load lip is very low, makes it easy to load the stuff that you need to carry. If you fold down the second row of seats over here, you have access to 1,600 liters of capacity, making sure that you can carry all the stuff that you need. Now, in addition to that, we have tie-down hooks over here, a 12-volt socket, and tethers for the child seats in the second row of this vehicle. This car does not come with a spare tire, so all that additional space is available under here if you want to store some stuff and keep it away from prying eyes. Something that's always very interesting to note is just like any other BMW, the battery is at the back over here. One very important safety feature that this has is that it does not allow the tailgate to shut if it touches somebody or something. So that actually will prevent your kids or maybe an animal running in and out here from getting hurt from this power tailgate. But now it's time for us to take this Beamer on the road and see how it works as a driving experience. So the new BMW X3 is fitted, of course, now with the park assist feature, which I will take you through right now. So all you do is when you're driving through a parking like this one that we have over here, might be a mall, all you do is just press the park assist button and then you drive forward. Now it's important to let the car know where you want to park, so you do that with the indicator so that it starts looking for parking, in my case over here, on the left-hand side. So all we're going to do is just drive through this parking until the system tells you that it has discovered a parking space. It has done that right now, so it's asked me to stop. So all I need to do is hold down the parking button and keep my hands off the steering wheel, release the brake, and as you can see, the car has taken over. So you can use now the reverse camera and see exactly what it's doing. So the car has actually stopped by itself. As one thing I like about the BMW system is that I don't actually need to touch the brakes or even the gear. I don't need to switch from drive to reverse. The car does that all by itself. So it's using the parking sensors and the camera to make sure that it puts you in reverse very easily. And there we go. We are done. The car is parked and all is well. So parking is no longer a nightmare with the BMW X3.
So up front we do have a stunning 2-liter turbo petrol twin power turbo courtesy of BMW that produces 135 kilowatts or 184 horsepower and 300 newton meters of torque that when I press dynamic mode like now and downshift, you can tell from the green, the power, it revs all the way to 6,000 RPM without breaking a sweat. And this is courtesy of course, direct injection, variable valve timing, or in BMW's peak, Vanos. And of course, you do have a sterling 8-speed ZF gearbox that actually has machine learning technology that mimics the way you're pressing the pedal. It tells you want to go fast, so it hangs on to the lower gear to give you much more power and torque, and then obviously gives you the X-Drive comfort. Of course, X-Drive also helps in getting the car sure-footed, and of course, it being a BMW chassis, it is very poised and balanced. And actually, when you accelerate on dynamic mode or sport mode, the gearbox can vary the amount of torque that is sent to the axle. Up to 80% can go to the rear wheels just for accelerating, and that gives you that poise that this is a BMW. Fun to drive, and of course, very exhilarating on the road. Now, the same gearbox also will give you a combined fuel figure of 6.6 liters per 100 kilometers. That is combined city driving, highway driving, and that is not too bad for a 2-liter that has 184 horsepower. That is amazing. Now, the chassis, you know, BMW, the G series is basically the one that's the current generation of BMWs, and this chassis is balanced because it's scalable architecture. You probably find it also on the 3 Series, the 5 Series, and many others, the X4 and whatnot. Now, BMW builds this on a computer-aided design module that, you know, simulates how a proper BMW should be. 50-50 weight balance ratio, important in any BMW, so that's what they've done with this particular engine to ensure that power and delivery of torque is essentially important when you're having that BMW feel on the road. Very important. So up front also, you do have McPherson struts that are tuned, long stroke that gives you good points, and at the back you do have a multi-link setup that also allows you to have very good road holding manners, and of course even on off-road, give the passenger good comfort, which is very important during off-roading excursions that we're going to test out later with Mr. Mirigi, who, by the way, is our resident off-road expert.
So now we have taken the BMW X3 off the road, not off-road, but off the road, to mimic a situation that an owner of this car would do, which is basically to go check out the farm. For the first time on this show, it's actually raining right now as we do this, so we're making this even more of a real situation because it can get a bit tricky when there's some mud in these maram situations that we're in right now. But I believe that the X3 should be able to handle itself pretty well off the road, just like it does on the road. So this actually is set up with an all-wheel drive system that's using a torque sensing differential. So what that means is that it is sending most of the power most of the time to the back wheels, and then when it feels like there's a bit of a slip happening, it will send power to the front. Now that is an incredible thing when you're on tarmac, but it also means that we are maximizing the maximum traction when we're off the road. So the surface that we're on right now is a bit dusty, and once it starts raining, it's going to get a little muddy. So we need to make sure that this is able to get through what is effectively a very slippery situation. In addition to that, we have, of course, the main key advantage behind these compact soft-roaders, which is the fact that you have a very high ride height. So this actually has really good ground clearance, and the advantage of that in this setting is that you can get over a lot of the bumps on the road like we are doing right now. You can go into a bit of a depression and you won't touch the bodywork of the car. In addition to that, the suspension, because it's a bit longer, has more travel. There's more space for the suspension to go up and down, which is very good when you're on this kind of road, and also makes it pretty comfortable when it's in this setting. Now, before I set off, one of the things I did was leaving the car in the comfort setting. The reason I did this is to make sure that I have a very smooth throttle response. When you're on the road, when you're off the road in a setting like this, you don't want the car to suddenly jump forward because there's a lot of stuff that's around. You don't know about the traction. You might send a rock spinning and it hits someone else or the bodywork of the car. So you want very smooth, very predictable throttle response. Every time you touch the accelerator, you want it to move in a predictable way. So when we've done that, putting the car in comfort, it's easier to modulate the throttle. And I have to say, this 2-liter engine is doing a really good job of giving me just the amount of power that I need to get myself over and above all of these sections. So in summary, there's enough power to get you into and out of any tricky segment over here. The all-wheel drive system with this torque sensing differential will get you out of any slippery bits that you happen to be in. I wouldn't say you drive this car all the way to Lodwar, but you can be confident that you can turn off the road and go down a maram track to check out the farm, to check out your grandparents, or to do something interesting.
So guys, we've sampled the brand new BMW X3 in all its glory. It's fast, it's capable, and it being based on the same platform as the 3 Series, of course, handles extremely well. But Mr. Murigore, your thoughts on this BMW X3?
Well, I have to say it has lived up to this badge. It has delivered the ultimate driving experience. Whether you're on tarmac or when you're off the road, this was a fantastic car to drive, loads of power, and that great experience you have come to know and love. And one thing I have to mention, technology and the interior I really love this interior.
Now, for anybody who's at home, how much does it cost on the road?
Well, prices for the X3 start at 8.6 million shillings. This comes with Inchcape's industry-leading 5-year, 200,000 kilometer warranty, whichever comes first.
And remember also, Inchcape is throwing in a good deal as well. 5-year service plan, so that you have peace of mind when you're driving this BMW X3 across the country. But before we leave, who are the key rivals in this segment?
Well, like Trevor had mentioned, this is based on the 3 Series, so I cannot talk about this without talking about the 3 Series' rival, the C-Class, and the crossover built on that, the Mercedes-Benz GLC.
Well, guys, do you reckon the GLCs are far much better dealers compared to the X3? Send us your thoughts as seen on the social media notes below. We'll get back to you with that feedback. Well, before we leave, Mr. Murigi, where do we catch CBBT after the show?
Well, we're in season 5, which means we have almost 50 episodes covering the entire car industry in Kenya, and you can find all of them on our YouTube channel. Just search for CBBT_TV, and you can also find us on all social media handles, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
Well, signing out, this is Big Boy Trev.
This is Murigi. Drive safe
And be safe.